You don't have to walk this path alone. I'm here, I'll take you through the hill you climb all on your own. It's steep and long. In the darkness of your world, I'll meet you on your knees and make all things new. And as Jesus takes my hand, he whispers, I got this, my baby girl, I got this.
Hey there, welcome to Manna-Festations. I'm Penny Cook, and thanks for joining us here today. Today's conversation is about something many parents quietly wrestle with, learning to trust God with the people we love most. And for that, there's really no age limit. As parents, we spend years protecting our children, guiding them, praying over them, and helping them prepare for life. But what happens when God calls them somewhere that we can't follow? Today's story is just about that, and it's about faith, surrender, and discovering that God's protection reaches farther than we ever can. Today, I'm joined by my niece, Laura Johnson. Laura is a wife, mother of four, a nurse, woman of faith, and someone who understands missionary life from two very different perspectives. Years ago, after graduating from nursing school, Laura served as a teacher in Russia for a season. But recently, she found herself experiencing missions from an entirely different viewpoint, not as one going, but as the mother sending. But before we dive into that story, you know the meaning behind the podcast, Manna-Festations, speaks to the provision of God for all of his children. And we associate manna with bread. So a question I always ask my guests is, what's your favorite type of bread?
I would say warm.
Warm. Oh,
any warm bread out of the oven. I really do like banana bread, though.
Good, because I have some for you today.
That's great.
And I really thought that you might say Mima's homemade biscuits.
Well, yes, that's probably what I should have said.
That's okay.
It's been a long time since I've had those. So.
And we all try, but nobody matches ours.
No, they don't.
If you love bread like most of us do, check out my friend Naomi Fricke, who owns Yellow Daisy Bakery in Dallas, Georgia. She makes amazing fresh bread and baked goods using fresh meal flour and quality ingredients. No bleaching or artificial preservatives. And for my family, that is so important. Everything I've tried from Naomi has been absolutely delicious. And you know, it's easy to find Yellow Daisy Bakery on Facebook for her weekly menus and pricing. Be sure and check her page every week because she often adds new items. We'll drop her Facebook link in the show notes below and a QR code here. If you mention Manna-Festations, this podcast, you'll receive 15% off of your first order. Now, back to our podcast.
Well, we're going to talk about Anna Grace's story, but before we go there, I want you to tell us just a little bit about your family and what life looks like now these days.
Okay. Well, Cliff and I have been married for 26 years. Just the beginning of this month, on June 3rd, we celebrated our anniversary, and we have 4 kids, as you said earlier. Anna Grace is 24, and Sam is 22. Lydia is 19, and Abby is 10. So that's our family.
Okay. And you are not nursing for a profession now,
No.
but you did get your degree in nursing.
I did get my degree in nursing, worked as a oncology nurse for many years before we moved to Florida. And then for 20 plus years, I was a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
And I've been working at a preschool for the past 5 years as kind of their medical person on staff and administrative assistant.
Cool. Which is short for I do everything.
Maybe. Sometimes.
Yeah. So, okay, so let's center for a few minutes on Anna Grace. Describe for those who do not know her, maybe what was she like growing up?
Anna Grace was full of energy, excitement, always the center of attention, wanted everybody to come and play with her and do things with her. And from an early age, she was sharing her love for Jesus with people. and just wanted everybody to know about him.
Yeah. So, and I remember that she was never shy about, I'll sing in church from the time she was a little bitty girl, or reciting a memory verse. She was all about Jesus.
Yes.
Early age. At what point did she ever express interest in any kind of missions?
Elementary school, actually.
Oh,
Our church did a thing they called Kids on Mission, where they took a group of kids, 3rd through 5th grade, I believe, to Savannah, Georgia, and they would serve there and do missions. And she did that every year. And from then on, she would participate in middle school mission trips, high school, or if there was ever an opportunity that she could go.
She had the experience behind her.
She did, yes.
So when does she start learning about or interest in Uganda?
I think we knew about Uganda for a while because of a friend that grew up in our church. She and her husband have a ministry there, but that was the extent of it. We didn't know a lot. She never expressed a desire to go there. But in October of 2024, Anna Grace knew that she was going to graduate in December with her elementary education degree, and she really just didn't know what she was going to do.
Right.
And so October, our church had a global missions conference, and she went on that Sunday evening, and I had been out of town, so I didn't make it back for that time. She didn't want to go. As she got to the parking lot, she was like, I just don't even want to go. But I'll go in, and I'll speak to the first person that talks to me. And the first person that was there was Megan. And she's the lady that she and her husband have the ministry in Uganda. And so she talked to her about graduating, and Megan said, what are you going to do? And she said, I really don't know yet. And she's like, you should come and teach. I think partially joking, but you should come and teach in Uganda. And that was the spark that led right that moment.
So, all right, so it was an idea at that point. When did you see that God was really doing something and placing it on her heart?
Pretty much within days. I mean, she came home that night and told me about it. And she's like, I'm going to meet with them on, I believe it was on Monday. I mean, it was really quick because they were only in the States for a short time.
Okay.
So she met with them and talked with them and came home and was telling me more about it. And I was like, go. If God's telling you to go, then go. What about this?
I was about to ask you, what was your first reaction?
That was my first reaction, was if you are meant to go, He'll take care of it. It's a great opportunity. You should do it.
What about your husband? What about Cliff? Same thing?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Well, that's excellent.
We were both on board fully.
So, because it's very, very far away.
It's very far away.
If you don't know where it is, look it up on a map. It's a long way away.
It takes a solid day to get there for sure.
So I'm sure every parent could relate to that. Even though you were encouraging, I'm sure there was some, wow, that's a big step.
100%.
And so there was a lot involved. She couldn't just say, okay, I'm going, pack her bags and go. I think there was financial issues, but challenges. So talk a little bit about that and how did you deal with following God's calling for you to support her?
She was going to have to be self-funded or supported by others to go. She found out how much that was going to be. It was over $25,000 roughly to be there for a year, to pay for all of her expenses, flights, visas, living expenses, everything.
And we're talking about going in a short amount of time. It's not like she had a year.
No, she did not. School started there the beginning of February,
right.
And they were going to want her there the middle of January. So it's very short. Basically, she had a little over 2 months, I think. And the fundraising took about 6 weeks.
Yeah. And
she had talked with them. And Cliff and I actually met with them too before they went back to Uganda, just to get an idea of what she would be going into.
Sure.
And, just for understanding so that we knew how we could support her better. Maybe ease a few of the fears that were there. But the fundraising was amazing. As soon as she shared it with others, I mean, the donations just poured in. And it wasn't just the needs it was also the wants.
Yeah.
Because she wanted a solar panel, because she wanted the ability to have hot water.
Sure.
And
yeah.
she wanted a small refrigerator. And, you know, not things that she had to have by any means, but definitely made life easier for her. So God provided the amount that was needed for that, which was another $5,000 to $6,000.
Wow.
Plus an extra like two. I think all in all, she raised about $32,000
Yeah.
in 6 weeks.
And I remember she would put that on social media, and so I was watching it grow, and I mean, I was amazed. Just
Yes.
you know, wow. So,
Yes.
was there a time where you felt like, I don't know if this is going to work, to pull everything together, or you had the assurance all along?
I just had the assurance that if she was meant to go, that God would take care of it. And I told her that so many times, like, God will raise the money. He will provide it. Everything's going to fall in place if this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And sitting back and watching that happen, watching the money just pour in from everywhere, and watching the visa get approved, and just all these little things that added up just each day. It was like just more confirmation.
Yeah.
And I remember telling her, like, there is no point that you can truly doubt that you're supposed to be here.
Right.
There's going to be days, and it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
You're going to say, what have I done?
Exactly.
But you always look back and see what he did for you and what he provided in such a short period of time. Like, there is no doubt is where you're supposed to go.
It was very clear.
Very clear.
Which I think, you know, he gives us what we need, and I think she probably needed that assurance.
Yes.
Which we're going to talk about some of the challenges she had when she got over there in a minute. But I want to spend a few minutes talking about your story, so unique, because at one time, years ago, you were the one leaving home on a mission trip very far away to Russia. Tell us a little bit about that experience in Russia and the preparing for yourself going.
Yes, it was very similar to hers in that we had to raise support, much less money than she had to raise. But I had to raise the support and plane tickets and so many details there too, that like I knew I was supposed to go. A phone call came to our apartment that I shared with 3 friends, and it was somebody that we had met, a missionary that had come to our church, and they said, we need two people to come and teach our children while they were doing extensive Russian language school. And so they needed somebody to homeschool the 5 children between the 2 families. Yeah. And so my roommate and I both knew, like, this is for us. And so we just, we just went because we know we were supposed to.
And you were there for how long?
For 5 months.
5 months, okay. And Grace was gone for almost a year?
Almost a year,
yeah. So a little bit longer than that. I remember one story, if I get it wrong, you can correct me. Okay. But I remember one story, I guess when you came home, you were telling us about where you ran out of food or ran out of bread, and you actually had to go stand in a bread line and didn't know when you got up there whether or not you actually were going to be able to get the bread because it might be all gone, something like that.
It wasn't that it was going to be all gone. It was that I couldn't remember if I could say the words needed.
Oh, okay.
To get the bread, because they only spoke Russian, and I did not. And I believe it was Dva Batan Pajosta, 2 breads or 2 loaves, please. That's probably not 100% accurate.
Yeah.
But, I had to learn that after that experience. I was like, I have to be able to get bread for these kids because we had to go every day to get it. So,
something that we all take for granted here. We were talking about bread earlier, and so that's just, wow. It's just something that is so easy to run out and get for us, but it's a whole different world.
Yes.
In many places, not just Russia, but many places. So when Anna Grace was preparing for Uganda, did you find yourself remembering your own mom, grandparents, and all, and how they felt about yours?
I did. I remember talking to Mom about it a couple of times, and she was like, well, now you know how I felt. And I was like, yes, because I think when you're the one going, you don't necessarily think about the ones staying behind and the ones what they're thinking and going through, because you're so focused on everything you need to do and you're leaving.
So that's definitely a moment where you probably step back and go, okay, Lord, now I understand, like you were saying,
Yes.
understand what, and I'm sure that is generation by generation. You just watch someone leave, not even across the country. There's a lot of people just going into the ministry or going even for a job, and they're moving just a few hundred miles away,
Right.
but you're used to seeing them every day, and that's when you have to just give it to God and say,
Yes.
all right, they're yours. So, okay, so it's time for her to go. She's getting ready. Tell us about what a week or two before the departure looked like for your family and for her.
We were trying to spend as much time as possible with her and helping her gather all the supplies she needed and that they wanted her to bring. She was trying to spend time with friends and just get all the boxes checked.
Yeah.
But mostly it was about just time together.
And she was limited, is that right, in what she could take, how much she could take? I mean, obviously how much she could take, but
yes, she
even
could
for
take,
her clothes
right.
to some point. Yeah.
She could take 2 suitcases that were, I think, 50 pounds
Mhm.
and a carry-on and a backpack.
Wow.
Which, it seems like a lot until you think you're trying to take everything you might need for a whole year.
Yeah.
So.
And moving thousands of miles
Yes.
away. Yeah.
Yes.
So
no
what was,
Walmart down the street.
right.
So.
What was it like at the airport? Were you able to go to the gate or anything with her, or you had to say
No,
goodbye?
Yeah,
at
you can't go to the gates anymore.
Yeah.
So we went to security there, and that was emotional for sure.
Hard not to cry.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
I can think about it now.
Oh no, well I know it's real still. I mean, yeah. So when the plane finally takes off, what's going through your mind?
Boy. Excitement for her.
Yeah.
Relief that she made it, to that step. Mix. You can tell it's so emotional. A mix of joy and sadness, because of course,
yeah,
it's part of your heart.
It is.
It's blind.
And probably no matter how much trust you put in God, there's a little bit of fear. The do not worry in the Bible is so important, and we need to all be there, but it's hard to live there. It is hard to live there. Hard. So, how'd your prayer life change during that year she was gone?
I think it got a lot stronger, for sure.
Any special scriptures that you bring to mind?
A lot of what you said, the do not fear.
Yeah.
And it would really depend on the day. Sometimes the reading was just I don't think I could go back and pinpoint exact scriptures to you, but a lot of do not fear and just trusting in God. And something that really spoke to my heart not more than scripture, but on top of scripture, is the song Trusting God.
Yes.
By Elevation Worship. Mm-hmm. Before she left, I'm like, this is our song.
Yeah.
Because it just, every time I would hear it, I would just see her. And because that's what she was doing.
Yeah.
She was trusting him.
And you feel that comfort. That's got to come from the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so she would, they would sing that song at church, and I would hear it on the radio, and it would just come up every time I felt like maybe I was starting to struggle or starting to have a harder time letting it be what's, letting what happens happen. Mm-hmm. Doesn't make sense, sorry. But just trust me. I would hear that song, and I would realize, yes, I do have to trust you.
In the whole period of time, I know we've been talking about before, but if you look back over the whole period of time, was there ever a time maybe that you saw God answer a fear before you even voiced it to him? I need your help, that he had already taken care of something?
I have to think about that one.
Okay, and that's fine. That's fair. Let's talk about one thing I remember hearing shortly after she got there. And again, I'm not real clear on the timeline.
Okay.
She came down with a really bad illness, something that had to do with the environment she was in.
Right.
You want to speak to that a little bit? Because that had to be a big concern. You couldn't go rush and be by her side and take care of your little girl.
I really had to trust there that, they would take care of her and that the doctors could take care of her. And I can't even remember what it was that she had now, but they took her to the doctor and they did the testing and gave her the medicine, and and she was okay.
Yeah.
But, it is unnerving to know
Right.
that you can't do anything because
Yeah.
you're so far away.
But it all worked out. She's healthy and
Yes,
everything.
yes. She had a
she
few
was able to
sicknesses. Yeah.
teach and do a fabulous job while she was over there.
Yeah, she was.
So you didn't just stay home, though, and wonder what was happening. You actually got to travel to Uganda, which was a huge blessing.
Yeah.
So Anna Grace had been away from home about 4 months, I think, and needed to renew her visa.
Yes.
And that turned into a family trip to Europe. So talk about that a little bit.
Yes. She had to leave Uganda to go somewhere else to renew the visa to go back for 3 more months. And Cliff was going to be in Germany for work.
Mm-hmm.
So it made more sense for her to go there. I think it was cheaper. It was closer. It didn't have, it didn't have as big of a time difference.
Right, and the layovers.
1
and
or
all
2
that.
hour time difference versus coming home when it's 7 or 8 hour time
Right.
difference. So it was easier for her to go back. We said, why don't we just all go? And so it started out with Lydia going, and then Sam was going to join them. You know what? Abby can miss a week of school.
Yeah.
I can miss a week of work, so we can all be together. So we all flew over to Paris, and it was actually Mother's Day weekend. So that was a huge blessing to have all of them together there and spend a little bit of time. But that reunion was so good.
Yeah, that was sweet. And so you got to have just some fun family time too.
We did.
Not just taking care of business with the visa, but
just fun
just be a family. And I'm sure Anna Grace needed that as much as you did, because she was having to get used to a whole new culture and language and everything. Did she have to learn the Ugandan language?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't
She
know.
learned a little bit, but she did not have to, because they only teach in English at the school. And so everybody coming there has to speak English. And they have to.
Okay, so that was good. So then another opportunity presents itself a short time later, a month or so later, when your church decided to take a mission trip to Uganda. So tell us a little bit about that.
So we found out a few months before that they were going to go to Uganda. They had gone the year before, the church had. And so Cliff and I had mentioned to them, I guess even before Anna Grace left in December, we said, if you do it again, we want to go. And so they did. So Cliff and I signed up, and we were able to go and be there with her for close to 2 weeks to, teach with them at school, or just, assist at school, to live where she lived, to meet all the people, experience the culture. And I knew that it would be so helpful, so that when she came home, we could relate. We could understand who she was talking about, where she was talking about, what it was like. Because that was one thing coming home from Russia. It's like nobody else had ever been there. So nobody really could relate except my friend I went with.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to be able to have that experience.
Yeah. That's good. And so what did you do? What was your function? Like, did you have a particular job on the mission trip, and did Cliff?
Yes. I assisted in like the middle and upper classes, kind of their preschool classes. So I assisted there. And Cliff helped build a volleyball court. They really wanted that, and he really enjoyed that. And then we did other little things. They had me teach a first aid class to everyone. So I did that, was able to bring first aid kits over for everybody. So that was.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but you collected some things, right, to take with you, some supplies the church did.
We did. They had given us a list of things that they would like for the school, volleyballs and a net, and
things they couldn't run down to the Walmart that's not there and
no,
get.
absolutely. Yes.
So, did you get to see Anna Grace actually in action teach her class?
We did. I didn't teach her class, but Cliff, I believe, taught Bible. Every grade has Bible class each day, and so he helped her teach her Bible class. And I got to go around and see when I had a break. And then she would help lead worship for their church service on Sunday mornings. And so that was quite the experience to sit in the back and watch her lead. And they would do some songs in English and some songs in Luganda. And they had the drums, the little small drums they used. And just watching that was very emotional.
Oh, yeah.
Because participating in that worship, even when we didn't understand the Lugandan songs, you could feel the presence of the Lord.
All you need is the Spirit. Yeah. We've been in some Spanish speaking where the whole thing is in Spanish.
Right.
I didn't know what they were saying, but I didn't need to. I could feel the spirit
Yes.
of God, and that had to be special. So anything when you were there that you were like, oh, I hate to leave. I don't hate to leave her there, but this is more than I thought, or whatever, something that you saw culturally that was concerning or shock or.
No, I don't think so culturally, just because I knew she was safe in the compound where she was at and the friendship she had built. So, I mean, there definitely were some things nearby.
Oh, tell us, she had bats in her house or apartment one time, right?
She did multiple, it was a house that she was living in, and multiple times she had bats. And so that experience was like, ooh. And the very first,
scary.
It was scary. The very first night that we were there, I was staying in the house with her, and then two of the other ladies were there as well in her house. And we had a bat. We came back down from dinner and closed the door and turned on the light, and it did a little dive bomb towards one of the ladies, and the security guard heard us screaming. And came running down there, and he took care of the bat that night.
I started to ask you, how did you get rid of the bats?
She had a giant bat stick in her house that they let her keep. It was probably, I don't know, 8 or 10 feet tall. And she did have to take care of one herself one time.
She got proficient at bat.
Yes.
Sweeping or whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it. She took care of one, and that was definitely a unique experience.
Okay, so how do you think that year changed Anna Grace? Now, hopefully we're going to bring her on the podcast at some point soon, but I want to hear it from a mother's point.
Oh, it definitely changed her in a lot of positive ways. And from just to like her financial life, her going before she would, and she would tell you this for sure, spending money, she wouldn't think twice about it, how much things cost or whatever, go to Starbucks, go here,
right? No
big deal. But once she went there and had that experience of having to live off the little bit that you had, and there's not a Starbucks down the road, a Chick-fil-A down there, anything. There's nothing.
There's nothing.
Down the road. There's the small little village.
I was going to say, where do they get their groceries?
They do have a little, but there's not a grocery store like we would have here. They have a small little shop in the village that you could go, and people would go, and you would hire them to go get your stuff and bring it back to you. So that was different, and the cost of everything. She really learned, like, it's crazy in America how much everything costs.
Yes, I'm sure. So now Anna Grace is home. She came home last
December 13th.
Right before Christmas.
I think that was right. It was in December, yes, right before Christmas.
And so before she went, she had graduated with a teaching degree. But before we talk about her career, what was it like welcoming her back? Now, we talked about the airport experience when she left.
Yes.
What happens when she comes back?
Well, when she came back, I had my dates wrong. So because the way she left, normally you would leave on one day and get here the next day. She left after midnight. So she came back the same day that she left, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
So I had told Abby, our youngest, that she was going to be back the next day. And because that's really what I thought. And so once we realized that was wrong, we never told Abby any different.
Okay. Yeah.
And so Cliff and I went to the airport and picked her up. And that was just, that's just the best hugs you can get. It'd been a while at that point. And so it was really nice to just see her and hold on to her and know that we weren't about to put her back on the plane in a week or two and send her back, that we were going to get to keep her. So it was an adjustment for sure, but it was fun and exciting to have her home. But the best part of that was driving to the school and picking Abby up that day. She had to go to aftercare, which she never does. And Anna Grace's friend was the teacher for that. So she knew we were coming. Sweet. And she was able to video when we got there. So we pulled up together, and Abby walked out the door and saw us, and then turned and just dropped all of her things and ran, grabbed her, and it was just very sweet.
I saw that video on Facebook, and
I could feel it, even though it was on
Yes.
social media, because I know them so well, of course. But
Mm-hmm.
and your oldest, Anna Grace, and your
Mhm.
youngest, Abby, are like this.
Yes.
They are so close, and yeah, you can just
Mhm.
feel the love and the hug. That was joyous.
Yes. Yeah. It
So,
really was a sweet moment.
so you think Uganda will always stay in her heart? It's a part of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, she had no choice but to, well, I guess she did have a choice, but she chose to lean in to God and just hang on tight to Him. And I know
Right.
that her spiritual life grew so much there, and that's going to always be a piece of her story. No matter
Yes.
where she goes and what she does in the future, that's going to be.
Have you seen evidence of what you said about God using her? You see it now that she's home, how He's using her experience there, here.
Yes, I think so. Just the way she stepped in, she's become the children's director at her church,
Mm-hmm.
and she was teaching at the preschool. She's going to start teaching kindergarten in the fall. She just pours her whole self into
She does. Yeah.
what she's doing, and her love for Jesus just shines through.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that grew even brighter because
Yeah.
of Uganda, for sure.
I think her students will be so lucky to have her. And for kindergarten, the parents of her students, I
Yes.
think, will really
Mhm.
appreciate her heart
I think
for
so,
the
too.
children and for Jesus.
Yes.
So, yeah. So for parents listening today, your child may be following God's call to go into ministry, to go into missions, whether it's down the street next door or all the way across the world to Uganda or other places. Or maybe you're looking at a son or daughter going into the military. That can be just as concerning as missions, or just a path you weren't expecting. So thinking about that for our audience and somebody that might be in your similar shoes that you walked,
Mhm.
what would you want them to
I would want you to know that more than anything, more than the love you have for your children, God has for them. He loves them more than we can even grasp or imagine. And so putting your trust and your faith in Him taking care of them, that's what I would want them to know. That ultimately, no matter what, He loves them more than you do. And He wants the best for them. And He's going to direct them and guide them. And so many times we can get in the way and we just need to step back. I had so many people ask me, how did you let Anna Grace go? How did you do that? And my answer to them was, how could I not?
Right.
If that
And they mean well, I'm sure from their side it's a concern for your heart.
It is, yes.
But you lived the right answer. How could I not?
I did say to them, who am I to get in the way of God?
Yeah.
If God is clearly calling her, which He clearly was calling her, it is not our place as a parent to step in the way.
Wise words. Yes. I just thought of this, what I'm fixing to say.
Okay.
But I wonder if, I'm sure God had His own plan for you singularly when He sent you to Russia.
Mhm.
But I wonder also, did that help prepare your heart for what you were going to need 26, 28 years later?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because He knows all along. He knows everything.
does, yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
I
think what stands out most in your story is the faith. It's not, faith isn't about going. Sometimes faith is about releasing, and that's what you were doing. You were releasing her to God.
Yes.
Like the story of Hannah in the Bible with Samuel,
Right.
Here she is.
Yes.
That's what you were having to do. And that's a hard thing to do.
It is a hard thing to do.
Um,
That year, like I said, I have 3 other children, and in a 9-month span, I had to release 3 of them.
That's true. She wasn't the only one leaving.
She wasn't, and Lydia's was planned to go to college in Pittsburgh, and that August, none of this had even been thought of by us when Lydia left, and that was difficult to release her. And then we released Anna Grace, and then released Sam to go to school and move, and I had to really wrestle with God about all that.
Yeah.
And He ultimately just said, you've always told me they're mine. Are they? Are they?
Wow.
Are you
Yeah.
willing to let them go?
Big question.
And that
Yeah.
was a tough year, but grew stronger for sure during it.
Yeah. Which, again, circles back to our whole focus on manna. And just like he did with the children of Israel, it's day by day. He didn't promise us something 6 months from now. Everything's going to work out and give us his timeline about your future. It's like, are you with me today? And then the next day, it's, are you with me today?
Right.
Again. And because he's always there for us.
Yeah.
Always. So, anything else you want to share that we haven't touched on? Or
No.
did I skip anything?
I don't know. We might have.
We may have. Like I said, hopefully you'll get to meet Anna Grace soon. She's off busy right now, as she always is. And we knew that Laura was going to be in town at some point this summer. And this was a kind of unplanned, not totally unplanned, but unscheduled. So we threw this one together at the last minute. But thank you for being here and doing that. Let's have a quick prayer, then I'll come back and close us out. Lord, thank you for loving our children even more than we do. We've spoken about that this afternoon through and through this podcast. Help us to trust you when your plans stretch our faith and lead those we love into places beyond our reach. Remind us that no distance is too far for your protection and your presence or your purpose. Give parents listening today to this podcast the courage to release what they cannot control, no matter what that is, and to rest in the God who holds every tomorrow. We love you, Jesus. Amen. Well, this is Penny Cook with Manna-Festations, trusting God for today. So if you've enjoyed this episode, please follow, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a reminder that God's faithfulness reaches all around the world. We'll see you next Monday.
You don't have to walk this path alone. I'm here, I'll take you through the hill you climb. All on your own is steep and long. In the darkness of your world, I'll meet you on your knees and make all things new. And as Jesus takes my hand, he whispers, I got this, my baby girl, I got this. As I stepped into that grand old room, the memories flashed in my mind, and the voices in my heart rang out from that old-time radio. Kept beside my daddy's bed, Grandma